The human race has been enduring the world of chaos for months. The coronavirus pandemic has been running rampant all over the world, and right now we are finally starting to flatten the curve of infections. However, is coronavirus really the only issue that we're dealing with right now? Hello everyone, my name is Edsview, and I'd like to state that there is a mental health pandemic going on right now. Now let's get further into the details. According to a research conducted by psychiatrists Carlos Nort and Wilhelm Kowal, the worldwide unemployment rate due to COVID-19 may increase from about 4.9 to 5.6%, and that may also trigger an increase in amount of suicide of 9,570 people per year. Also, according to an article from psychologytoday.com, psychologist Deborah Serrani states that quarantine, or in other words long-term isolation, may cause both physical and mental symptoms, ranging from cardiovascular issues, insomnia, abuse of alcohol, sadness, frustration, hopelessness, and much more. Besides, in every type of disaster, there is a certain wave pattern of emotional changes society goes through. The training manual for mental health and human service workers in major disasters suggests that there are 6 emotional changes. So here's a simplified graph of emotional changes in major disasters. The first phase is the pre-disaster phase. This first phase signifies that society is uncertain and fearful about the disaster that is about to happen. The second phase is called the impact phase. This is when society is actually struck by the disaster and people start to feel intense mix of emotions. The third phase is called the heroic phase. This is when people start to get their minds together and begin on working towards a solution. And the next phase is the honeymoon phase, which is the peak of positive emotion. In this phase, disaster assistance is readily available and people are filled with a lot of optimism. And this leads to a strong bond within the community. However, human beings have a limit to their willpower, so this eventually falls to the disillusionment phase. This is the moment when society begins to realize that there are limitations to disaster assistance, and therefore people feel fatigued, triggering major depression. And finally, we have the reconstruction phase. While society grieves the losses caused by the disaster, people begin to gain their willpower back and adapt to the new life. So the ultimate question for our society today is how exactly do we get from the disillusionment phase up to the reconstruction phase? To get out of the disillusionment phase, I firmly believe that all we gotta do is one simple method, and that method is lowering your bar. So modern day people tend to focus more on perfection and efficiency and try to finish work as quick as possible. That's good and all, but when we are in an emotional low, we may not even have the willpower enough to even think about efficiency and perfection. So instead of raising the bar, we need to lower the bar and dissect the problem we are currently having into smaller solvable problems. Now let me share my personal example of when I was depressed and was very anxious to attend high school. So first of all, I thought of which specific places I would feel severe anxiety. So first off, I would obviously start from school itself. Now I started dissecting this and brainstorm how far I can go outside. So for example, the next one below would be like the nearest train station. But I'd still feel anxiety at this point, so I'd keep dissecting and dissecting. Do I feel anxiety at the nearby convenience store? Do I feel anxiety at the nearest park? And I keep going and going. And when I get to the point where I think that I don't feel anxiety, I set that part as the goal, and step by step, I try to climb back. So in other words, I kept lowering the bar of going to school, and step by step, I practiced becoming more comfortable of getting closer to school as much as possible. But if I didn't lower the bar and kept avoiding going to school instead, the negative reinforcement would have gotten stronger and stronger, and it would be more difficult to me to get back to school because avoidance would be embedded as a solution within myself. Another simple example would be trying to avoid staying in bed all day. Well, first you can set your goal very low and set your alarm clock at a really late time. Then if you can wake up at that late time, then try setting the time 10 minutes earlier the next day. And you keep doing that slowly and steadily until you get used to waking up early in the morning. And moreover, by doing so, you can create more time to practice other activities. You can take a nice morning walk, you can do chores that you haven't done the past few days. Hell, you can even find a new hobby. And eventually you will have developed a good healthy routine for both your body and mind. Anyways, my point is, sometimes you gotta lower your bar to progress in life. Now some people might say they may not have the patience and the pride to do so, but you gotta remember, life is not a sprint, but it is a marathon filled with ups and downs. So it's totally okay to slow down and pace yourself if your willpower is very low. Hashtag mental health matters. And most importantly, I'd absolutely love it if you guys could share this video around and help others as well. I know it's such simple advice, but I hope this video reaches out to people who haven't had the knowledge to manage their own stress, especially during these chaotic times. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope to see you again.